Hey, what's up, guys? I got two pickleball drill nets here. We have the rebounder net by Mary Move, and then we have a rebounder net on the right by Net Plays. Both cool looking nets. Just want to talk about some of the differences that I noticed. Now, first thing I want to talk about is unpacking and putting these together. The first thing I noticed is this net has a lot less parts, so it's easier to put together. It also doesn't require any tools. You just kind of unfold the pieces and place them together. Very easy to put together, makes it easy to break apart and even travel with it, as it's more compact in the travel bag. Now with this one, as you can see, it's a lot more of a durable looking net, harder to put together, but when you put it together, you can tell that it is much more stable and durable. So we'll talk about that first. Now, as you'll notice here with the rebounder by Net Plays, the poles on the frame of this net are a lot stronger, thicker diameter, which increases its stability, which I really like. As you'll notice over here, as we walk and take a look at the other net, it's a little more flimsy, right? I wouldn't say it's a terrible thing, but it does take away from some functionality when it comes to the bounce. I'll point that out in a moment, but it's a lot less sturdy. Another thing I like to point out is the ability to adjust the net's angle. As you can see here, it's kind of fixed on its angle, straight up and down. But if we look over here and we can walk around the back of this net, here you have the ability to adjust the angle of the net depending on how high you want it to bounce. All I have to do is move the pole backwards or forwards, and that's going to adjust the angle of the net, which gives you some flexibility on how you use it. Now, the next thing I want to talk to is the targeting. So you'll notice here on the Mary Move net, we definitely have some targets to aim for. We have a line across the top that gives you a place to target so you don't pop up a dink. And you have certain dinking targets to aim, or just to help increase your accuracy, which is cool. Now, if we look at the Net Plays rebounder net, you're going to notice we have this red line that goes across the net. You can move it up and down so you can kind of shrink your target. I like that it's red, very easy to see, and you can even have this net cord here that gives you a target to aim above when you're dinking. That's one of the big differentiators that I noticed. Now, one final thing I'll point out before we show how these work, the one thing I'll point out here is the court lines. Usually you'd have to paint these or use chalk or some type of tape, but this comes with something that's very easy to set up. It straps to your net and you stretch it out and it kind of represents your kitchen. Mary Move does not come with anything, so that's one differentiator. I like having the target to give me an idea of where the kitchen is, so it's more realistic when practicing. All right, so next thing we'll talk about is how well these bounce. So we'll start with the Mary Move here. So you'll notice as I start dinking, it doesn't come back the way that I would want it to. So it's not very responsive, not very springy in the net. Even if I hit it very hard, it just doesn't come back very far. Now you'll notice with the Net Plays rebounder net, I think the net has a much better bounce and more realistic when you're drilling. So as you notice here, when we're dinking, bounces back a whole lot better than the other net here, which I really like. Notice even as I step back and hit longer shots, I'm still able to get the ball back to me, which is great. Next thing I'll point out here is playing with a partner. The Net Plays rebounder net is a little wider, so it gives you room to play with a partner, practice your communication skills, especially when you're playing with a significant other. Same deal here when trying to play with a partner. The width, I would say, doesn't impact a lot when playing with a partner. I would say the main downside to this net is the bounciness, right? So the ball just doesn't bounce back the way that I would expect it to. All right, so those are the two nets. I would say as we look here on the Mary Move rebounder net, it's very compact, easy to set up. It's lightweight, just a little flimsier. It doesn't bounce back quite the way I would want it to. And then you see here with the Net Plays rebounder, it's a little more to set up, but it is a lot stronger and more durable rebounding net. The bounce rate, or the bounciness of the net, works really well. It feels realistic, very similar to dinking and practicing out of the courts. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.